little did he know, his dad was, part of the secret society before his time, and they were threatened by it, and he was going to expose this whole alien agenda because he had a very rigorous space program that he wanted to proceed with, and so he was a threat. And why makes sense why Jacqueline Kennedy then took her children to live in another country. She was actually living on the ship of Onassis. That's when she married Onassis originally, because he had a lot of money and he protected her. And I always wondered why she was so afraid all those years for herself, her privacy, and her children. And now that you'll see for yourself the clip. Bill Cooper had no reason to lie. He actually had put his family in hiding. He risked everything he had. He spent all his money to do this. He just felt that no matter what it took, even if you were going to burn his house down or hate him, he wanted to open up our minds to understand that there are hidden agendas, and that we should just do the research ourselves. Don't listen to everything that he has to say. These are public documents, and it's accessible to everyone. And he put it together because most of us don't have the time or the understanding of how all this works. So we owe a lot to Bill Cooper, because from Bill Cooper, all the other people are coming forward now.
Right, and the government labeled Bill Cooper, William Cooper, the most dangerous radio host in America. Now, what really made him dangerous was he presented documented facts that he could back what he was talking about up. That's what made him dangerous. Here's a man offering solutions, not just telling you the problems, but giving you the solutions to change things. These kind of people, these type of heroes, they don't last long.
Right. And he was also saying in this clip, you might see this part of it, the first director of the CIA, because they built the Central Intelligence Agency, which is the Catholic Church, has a lot to do with the Vatican. James Forstall, I believe his name was, he wanted to make this public when he found out about the aliens. And what they wound up doing is committed him to a mental institution, and then they tied sheets around his neck, threw him out the window, the sheets broke, and he died to his death.
So you're saying the CIA is possibly involved with murders?
Oh yeah, CIA, the NSA, the National Security. I mean, all of these. There's some tremendous amount of money that's being funneled through these organizations, and our top officials know about that. It kind of goes undetected through the Congress now, and even through the president doesn't know, because they've taken a lot of the power away from the president. I'm not sure. We kind of have suspicion that Obama must know about what's going on, because the agenda is getting, closer and closer to everyone finding out about it. But back then, I think with Johnson and Nixon, they were having to constantly change the name. And I think with Johnson, it was called Project 303 because they sat in room 303 at the White House, because people were coming forward and things were getting exposed, and then, oops, incidentally, these people mysteriously disappear and can't collaborate anything. So we're having people come out now and really.
Oh yeah, and Cooper documents everything from the CIA to the type of gun that was used to assassinate Kennedy, and you'll be shocked to see what it is. So that's why I encourage everyone not to take our words, but go to the video on the website, esotericcosmos.com/BillCooper.html. I put the link up there in the chat, so you can go right to the website, and be sure to watch the clips from the JFK assassination exposed by William Cooper, and you can see the video with your own eyes, the clearest video that has ever been seen, where you can see it, broad daylight. Another thing, the first from the Roswell crash, I was watching about, the first alien, that was the ET that was in that crash, and his name was actually EB. And he didn't last long. They actually got sick, several of the aliens, from being here, and they did something with the electromagnet, so they couldn't teleport, because these extraterrestrials were able to just reappear somewhere else and teleport. So they had some electronic device to keep them from doing that, and they did not last long. And I know at first some of the species of ETs that were interviewed by these secret MJ12 groups, everything they would say is a lie. Like, a lot of them were misleading. So you got to keep in mind there's so many different species of ETs, and just like us, there's good and there's bad, but probably the bad outweigh the good. That's just how it is.
Yeah. The reason they were dying is they were sort of like biologically plant-based. So they actually had a botanist that came and tried to work with them and learned a lot about their biological structures. But yes, that Evie lied a lot and he died. And one of the things they're good at is lying, is because they're telepathic, because they can read your mind before you even have a chance to, spit out those thoughts there.
Right.
So, and then there was another one. The first hostage was Krill, K-R-U-L-L.
Feminist Highness.
Yeah. He wanted to be addressed as His Highness. Of course, we didn't feel comfortable addressing him as His Highness. But he was also another. He was considered the first hostage that we had here. They had many aliens come here. They've learned a lot about their technology. The aliens taught them about time travel. They did go back and forth in time travel. We lived on Long Island, and little did I know back then, there was the Montauk Project, Project Looking Glass, where back in the 80s, they were going back and forth and doing time travel. They since closed the place down, I think, when something went wrong in a monster. They had pictures of a monster or something.
Right.
Monster,
and we got the Project Looking Glass up on the Esoteric Cosmos website. Incredible interview with the man that witnessed it all. So do look into that.
And I remember around that time there was a park, because I lived out there, not at Montauk Point, but close, 45 minutes away. And there was a park, South Haven Park, that I used to go. We used to have our yoga classes, and I remember one time the park was closed down, and there was already police, so, I thought there was a murder or something that happened in there. But people had said they had seen strange lights. And so this was around the time when they were doing the time travel, and this monster kind of thing washed up on shore. I think they killed it, but that's kind of with the end of the project. It was getting too much publicity with the locals around there, and we were on Long Island getting more and more populated, so it wasn't as easy as when they first started the project to get away with it. The botanist was Dr. Mendora, and he was just a botanist that actually, for the longest time, worked on these aliens. They had found that they have a project where they were going back and forth to Mars, because, like we spoke last week, there's many structures on Mars. There were civilizations on Mars. And one of the things Bill Cooper was pointing out is, why you see a lot of these ships going back and forth by lakes and water is because they were taking the water from our planet